Just wanted to let you know we've got the other board member on the way within 5 minutes, so hang tight. All right, let's call to order the Historic Preservation Board for August 1st, 2023. First item up would be roll call. Ms. Kaufman?
Daniel Courtney, Vivian Filer. She has an excused absence. She's at a conference in Atlanta.
Okay.
Bill Haight.
Here.
Liz Hawk.
Here.
Joe Mason.
Here.
Jay Reeves.
Here.
Bill Warner.
Right, here.
You have forum.
Okay, thank you. Next item up, approval of the minutes for July 10th,
Move
23.
to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Next item up would be public comment for an item that's not already on the agenda. Anyone? Okay. Moving along. Public hearing portion of the meeting. Ms. Kaufman.
Okay, for those of you who will be speaking on a public hearing item, can you please stand and raise your right hand?
Stand up, George.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give to the Historic Preservation Board tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you. See, that was painless. Okay, public hearing 1 is petition COA 23-0000071. This is 1208 Northeast 4th Street. It is a contributing structure in the Northeast Historic District, also known as the Duck Pond. This application is for a small rear addition to accommodate a new bathroom. The house is currently a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. The proposed addition will be 8 feet 8 inches wide by 16 feet long. All of the exterior elements are proposed to match the existing house, including a flat roof, single hung windows with a divided upper sash, and a stucco exterior. When this application was originally submitted to staff, it was approvable by staff. It was a small rear addition, not visible from the street and not on a corner lot. However, in order to try to accommodate this current side setback, the addition was very narrow, and it did not line up evenly with the exterior of the original house. So it kind of stuck out like this weird thing out the back of the house. So I suggested to the property owners, why don't you widen it and make it even with the house? But that in turn now necessitates coming in front of the preservation board because it's a side setback variance. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's here in front of you. The current required setback is 7 feet 5 inches. The requested side setback in order for that addition to be flush with the house is 5 feet 6 inches. There is one original wood double hung sash window at the rear of the house that was going to have to be removed as part of this renovation, but they are reusing that window to replace a non-original window at the front of the house. Okay. So the original wood window is still going to stay with this house. There are 3 standards, 3 federal standards that are applicable to this project. Standards 2, 9, and 10. Standard 2 is that the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. The proposed project will include the removal of one historic window, as I've already told you, but that window is going to be reused elsewhere on the structure. Federal Standard 9 is new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. New work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features in order to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. This proposed addition is minimal in size. It's to the rear of the existing structure. The massing, size, and scale of the addition is appropriate as it cannot be seen from the front of the property and it does not overwhelm the original structure in any way. Though the new addition will have many features that are similar to the historic structure, such as a flat roof, divided light sash windows, and stucco exterior. The stucco pattern for the addition shall not directly imitate the stucco pattern on the historic building, thus sort of delineating that it's a new addition and not part of the original structure. Federal Standard 10, new additions and adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of that historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. This project complies. Theoretically, this new addition could be removed in the future and it would not destroy the form and integrity of the existing historic property. Staff recommends that application COA 23-000071 be approved.
Okay. Did you guys have anything you want to add? To the mic.
And please just state your name for the record.
My name is George Wilson. Two things. I wanted to thank the board for taking your time out of your busy days to be part of the board and take care of our district like you do. And I'd also like to thank Kathleen. It was a real pleasure to work with someone who suggested additions to my project and improvements as opposed to denials of what I wanted to do. It's kind of a interesting take on the job and a very good one. Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All set.
Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, board members?
The proposal, to me, looks entirely appropriate. Happen to know that the applicant has quite a bit of experience in restorative architecture, and I anticipate a very successful project.
Okay. Anybody else?
Other than if he has any questions about the project, this would be a good time to ask them. Okay.
The only thought I will put out there, George, is because you're going to be adding to the building flush on that backside, I would talk to your stucco guy and see if he thinks the idea of an expansion joint between the new and the old is a good idea.
I'm sorry, we came in earlier today at 1.
Yeah.
And just, I guess we were so anxious that I didn't check on the time. And I wore my hearing aids then.
Okay.
So I can understand a little bit better. Yeah.
Well, you can tell him later, but it's just a question more than anything.
Yeah, I was expecting, to have lunch here at 1 o'clock. I thought the city bought lunch for everybody. I was wrong,
I'll call you about it after.
She could ask it later, not a problem, and it's not a requirement, it's just a thought.
Okay. I appreciate that, Jay.
Okay, all
I'll
right.
make a motion.
Yes, you may make a motion.
Okay, I move to approve petition COA 23-000071 as with staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion as stated?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you, George.
Okay, Ms. Kaufman? Public
Hearing 2, this is petition COA 23-000072. This is at 630 Northeast 10th Place. It's also a contributing structure in the Northeast Historic District, also known as the Duck Pond. This application is for the installation of a sunshade sail, just say that 3 times fast, just to the west of the existing carport for the protection of the owner's second vehicle. The proposed sunshade is made of heavy-duty fabric, supported on one side by 2 12-foot stainless steel posts. The other side of the fabric sail will be connected to anchors that have been screwed into the wood beam of the carport. Proposed color of the sunshade is gray. This is a corner lot. There is a tall hedge along the west side of the property, as well as a mature Japanese magnolia tree that will mostly block any view of the fabric sale from Northeast 6th Terrace, which is the side street. The 12-foot stainless steel posts can also be unscrewed from the footers, making them a less permanent installation. I took a look within our local guidelines to see if there was anything applicable for this. As you know, the Historic Preservation, Rehabilitation, and Design Guidelines serve as a supplement to the Land Development Code, Section 30-112. It was staff's opinion that an exterior installment such as a sunshade sail would be considered a landscape feature or structure, and those guidelines state the following. What is recommended? That the design of the landscape feature should complement the character of the principal structure. Now, our design guidelines talked about something much more permanent, like gazebos, pergolas, decks, patios, and pools. What is not recommended? Removing or altering any historic landscape structures, adding new features that obscure important architectural features of a historic structure, or the use of railroad ties as retaining walls. And according to these guidelines, the proposed sunshade does not do any of the not recommended items in the guidelines. What are the applicable federal standards for this? The standards that apply in this situation are also standards 2, 9, and 10. Standard 2 talks about the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. This proposed project complies, as it does not remove or alter any features of the existing historic property, with the exception of screwing in some of the bolts into the carport beam. Standard 9. New additions, any exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. New work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. This proposed sunshade does not destroy historic materials. The nature of this proposal is much less permanent than other types of landscape structures, such as gazebos, pergolas, and decks, and therefore does not endanger the historic integrity of the property. Standard 10. New additions and adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. This project complies. The sunshade could be removed in the future, and that it would not destroy the form and integrity of the historic property. Staff recommends that application COA 23-000-072 be approved, and of course, as part of your packet, you have maps, photographs, applications, and Florida Master Site File forms. That's it.
Okay. Are the applicants here, or would you like to add anything? Okay. All right. Any comments from the audience? Okay. Board members?
I want to speak in favor of the proposal. I do have a question. Are you going to have enough pitch to not collect water with this? Yeah, up there, please.
And just state your name for the record, please.
Erica Hollenbeek. Yes, there will be enough pitch to not collect leaves and rainwater on the structure. Also, the type of sailcloth that we want to purchase has perimeter support that a lot of them don't have, so it has heavy gauge wire. It's not visible. It's part of the structure of the shade itself to help give it some more support as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will add that this was exceptionally well documented, as was the previous case, so thank you for that.
Well, my husband's going to want to take credit for that, so I'd like to go on the record as saying, yes, I did an excellent job. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Any further comments from the board? Michelle?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, do we need to have approval for these sort of sunshades? I've seen others in the neighborhood, and I found it interesting when I saw it on the agenda. Is that something that?
We had discussed that. They actually came in to see staff and we discussed that. And I told them, look, just to be
On the safe side.
safe, why not? Because we don't want them to be one of the people that just does stuff without a permit. But it is a corner property and, you know, I don't want to set a precedent of.
Is it because I know some of the other ones I've seen have been sort of more freestanding? Is it the attachment to the house maybe that
I would think that's the distinction.
the
This,
distinction?
this is more substantial in size than the ones you typically see too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion. Motion to approve petition COA 23-000072 as stated.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor of the motion as stated?
Aye.
Okay. Passes. Thank you. Alrighty. That concludes the public hearing portion of the meeting. That brings us next to board business. You may.
Free to go.
Okay.
Yes, you're free to go now.
Good to see you guys.
Do they fill out the cocktail cart?
That's after you leave.
No idea.
Obviously, there's no Historic Preservation Board month activities for this month.
Okay.
That was a leftover from May's agenda.
Alrighty. Next, that brings us to member comments.
I have a question in regard to, I believe it's 735 East University.
I knew you would. I asked them for an update as of this afternoon, and I asked them last week and this afternoon, and as of now, I have not received any update.
Did we give them 90 days?
Yes.
It was 90, yeah.
In the absence of having made any sincere effort to respond to our concerns here, I move that if they have not substantially responded in another 30 days, that fine should be imposed.
In 30 days?
30 days. They obviously have no regard for the guidelines of the historic district.
Well, we gave them 90 days, though. Was the
Yeah, and but part of that was
They had to.
a meaningful update on progress
Every
toward
30
choosing
days.
the objective and not waiting to the end of the 90 days to come up with more excuses.
Okay, they did send an update at 5 o'clock. Hello, we are looking into online sources for the columns as your board suggested. We have hired a contractor to remove the shake from the windows and add some blackout tint. He will likely also be completing the columns and front porch, the wood. We are just trying to find a column to share with the board for approval.
Okay,
All right.
that's reasonable.
Okay, all right. Well,
I have a question. Have you heard from our gentleman with the shed at all? Has he made any progress on his application or?
Yes.
oh, you missed it.
He was actually here
Okay, and then
for this meeting, thinking he was going to be on the agenda because he had not received any of my emails. So the day immediately after the board meeting, he came back with a revised application that simply changed the roof to a gable roof and didn't
address any of the other concerns that the board had. So I sent him an email saying, look, I really suggest you come in and do a first step, that this is a free service the city provides you, and that way you can have building and zoning and historic preservation, and everybody that needs to be there can be there, and we can help guide you to what you actually need to be doing for what we now know you actually want to do. But he did not get that email. So I showed him the email and I resent it to him, and he'll be back.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're helping him
Yep.
get what he needs in the
Yeah,
proper way.
I think the first step is a really important thing
Yep.
for him to be able to do, at least so he has an idea of what's going to be expected if he's going to run a business out of there.
Out of a shed, okay.
Yeah, I missed that last month, but I watched it online. I'm sad that I missed that meeting.
Okay. Next meeting date, we know. Commissioner Willetts, want to thank you for coming to the board meeting. Appreciate it. This is a very short one. This is not the usual board meeting, by the way. That's why I decided to stick around. Yeah. We thank you. It would have been a little lonely without you. All right, that brings us to adjournment. If there's nothing else, we...
Did have one call to one item, the Santa Fe College articulation agreement is not ready. Item number 9.